The ESME Philippines is a free learning platform offered to Filipinos who are looking for a way to learn and build real employable skills that are in demand. Learn marketing, entrepreneurship, photography, culinary, advertising, videography, business operations, gardening, personal development, health and fitness, finance and accounting, music, and academics. Learn and share your skills today. Sign up now at esme.ph.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to ESME Live Webinar Series. And today is Saturday. We have a new schedule, and it's about women empowerment. Hi, Jekka.
Hi, Cher. How are you?
Good. So my name is Cher, and we are founders of ESME Live.
So, yeah, thank you for joining us today. And today we have a very special topics about passion to freedom for women entrepreneurs. We have a very amazing guest. And I would like to invite you to like our Facebook page. And please do share this webinar series to the people who you would think would be interested, especially for other women entrepreneurs.
Yes. But before anything else, we want to introduce what ESME is for everybody who's watching at their homes right now. So ESME is an e-learning platform. It's a marketplace for learning. It is good for contributors and also for learners.
So our mission, ESME's mission is, our purpose is and advocacy is to help Filipinos during this pandemic situation by innovating how Filipinos learn by creating a platform and creating a community. So we pursue to find knowledge advocates who wants to share their skills to help Filipino students, mentors, and entrepreneurs as well become the best version of themselves.
Correct. And for learners, you will be able to learn on your own time. You can use ESME Philippines using your mobile or your tablet or anywhere you are. Like Jekka right now, she's in Zambales and I'm in the South. You can just use the technology anywhere you are, even you're from afar from the Philippines. So yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, without further ado, I guess let's introduce our first guest. Okay.
Yes.
So we have a very amazing woman. She is the Chief Passion Coach of Modern Maria and the CEO and General Manager of Sinag Hostel in Siargao. So let's introduce Miss Suzie.
Hi.
Hi, Suzie. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you, Jessica?
I'm great. I'm in Zambales right now. Are you in Siargao right now?
No, I got stuck in my parents' place in Isabela. So I'm actually quite close to you. Oh,
You're
maybe
from
2
Isabela?
hours. Yeah, I'm from Isabela.
I'm actually from Isabela as well.
Really? Oh my god.
So
Okay,
yeah, are you excited with your presentation today?
Yes, I'm super excited. Yeah.
Okay, so without further ado, we can start.
All right. Okay, so hi everyone. So I'm just waiting for the slide to start. Yeah, as Jessica mentioned, I'm the chief passion coach of the modernmaria.co. You can call me Suzie. So I just started this company 3 months ago. It's really quite new. So it's an online coaching and mentoring company for aspiring entrepreneurs and passionate individuals who wanted to turn their business ideas into an actual business, or basically like their passion into a business. So that's basically the tagline of the company. And then I'm also working as a full-time CEO and general manager of Isang Lakbay Corporation, which owns Sinag Hostel in Siargao. And if you haven't been there, so Siargao is a really beautiful paradise, and it's a surfing capital of the Philippines. And Sinag Hostel, I started that project back in 2016, and it's sort of my biggest passion project as of yet. And I'm still in love with this project up until now, even in the midst of the pandemic. And it's my first serious commitment with entrepreneurship, I would say. So 2017, I quit my corporate job, and that started the whole story of Sinag Hostel. And the well for from Sinag Hostel, it's sort of a big impulsive decision for me when I started that project, because that was my first time in Siargao, and I really wanted to set up my own company at the same, well, company or project at my own thing. And if I quit my corporate job and leave the city, I want to be very sustainable. And when I arrive in Siargao, it's a very special place, I would say. And I know that it's gonna boom one day. So like I'm not sure when, but I had a hunch that it's gonna be big. It's gonna be there's gonna be more demand for accommodation. So I saw that gap, and I realized that okay, this might actually be worth it. So I fell in love with the island. I fell in love with the idea that on the last day of my first time in Siargao, we actually deposited like 10,000 pesos to secure that spot. That spot that we saw that would be perfect to build Sinag Hostel. And we told the owners that okay, give me 4 months. I will give you the full payment of 1.1 million pesos. Although I had no idea back then how to raise that money. So it was very impulsive in that sense that I only got 10,000 pesos. I give you this in 4 months. I'm gonna get back to you, give you the whole money, and then we start the project. And so before I even arrived in Manila, I already did my first pitch call to one of my best friends, and he agreed to give that investment. That's how supportive he is. And after that, yeah, so I just created the business plan. Actually, just when I as soon as I landed in Manila, created the business plan, created the pitch deck, and then started pitching to different individuals who wants to venture into this kind of business. And then after 4 months, we were able to achieve our target. After that, we raised 6 million pesos more to fund the first phase of the project, which is basically the building construction. And November 2018, we opened the hostel to our first guests. And that was really a big relief because it's 90% done. We're sort of still we call this we're sort of still fixing a lot of things for the finishing, but we opened, and then we just tried for a few months and then fully opened on January, that was February 2019. So we just celebrated actually our first birthday before the just before the pandemic. And then after that, I realized that Sina Costa reminds me of that dream coming to life. So for me, it's like we've worked hard for it. We're very passionate about it, and even in the midst of the pandemic, I'm just like I mentioned earlier, I'm still in love with this idea, and I'm hoping that more things will happen for Sinag Hostel, and we're still surviving. And but I admit though that it was very challenging right now for the whole tourism industry. So on the next slide, sorry, ooh, yeah. So the thing is so this is the my story for Sinag, and then on the next slide, sorry. Yeah, so while I was experiencing this anxiety, especially few weeks after the lockdown, almost simultaneously, some people approached me and asked me, okay, what, how did you actually put it off? How did you come up with this idea? How did you do all the business planning thing? How did you come up with these investors, etc., etc.? So almost I think 3 or 4 people approached me about this, and I said like, okay, maybe I'll just gather everyone and build a program around it, and then invite some more people if they want to join in, and then let's see if the program will be valuable for you guys. And because of my background as well in back in the corporate, I used to do course course modules, and I also do trainings for mostly for communications and customer management. So for me, it was very easy. So combining that business background and my experience with CNAG, and then the course creation, so I decided, okay, maybe it's worth a shot. So we just tried this one, and I realized that there's still so many passionate individuals out there who are not starting their business just because they don't know where to start, or they're scared of failing. They're scared to take risks. They're scared that they're going to be judged by other people. So I bank on that pain point from the six amazing ladies I had the opportunity of working with on Batch Zero. So this is actually a picture of the culmination session where we invited some mentors as well to join in on our last session to give their feedback to the business plans. But yeah, basically, if you ask these ladies about what they're passionate about, they can compose a long essay about the things that they love doing. But when I ask them, why are you not putting this into a business, in an actual business? What is that reason why it's not a business at this point? That's the common answer I got from them, that I'm scared to start. So the whole concept of the Modern Maria.co is actually designed to overcome that fear, because I know that passion can fuel that amazing idea, that business idea. Passion can do that for you to move forward. But the biggest hindrance that you have is your fear of starting, a fear of failure, fear of being judged. And so I created that program to answer and manage those fear. So on that aspect, sorry, let me put in the next slide. Yeah. So on that aspect, I want the people to focus on what they love doing, but manage their fear through business planning, through building a support system, through taking action every day, and asking for professional help. So business planning allows you to set an intention or goal for your business. That is also that also allows you to create a calculated risk for your business, so you're gonna be less scared because you're technically prepared. And then the second thing is you build a support system. For me, I created a team to execute my idea, to execute that idea, from branding to construction, etc. And then I keep my friends close because sometimes you need that extra validation from them. Third is I do every small action every day. So it doesn't matter how big or small. I do this every day. I was still working back then in the corporate world, and I would do it before my shift. I would do it after my shift. I do something. And then the last thing is I leverage on the knowledge of other people. I was really lucky back then because I have some lawyer friends and accountants, and I don't know if Kuya Peter is here, but if Kuya Peter is tuning in, so I would remember like sending him my balance sheet because they are not balanced, and then after just few minutes, he will return it to me and say, okay, it's all done. So I don't need to put a lot of pressure to myself because I know that I don't need to. Well, I need to be familiar with everything, but as well as I need to learn from the expertise of other people. So that these four things makes everything less scary, I would say, because knowing the unknown actually puts you in a position of, well, I'm becoming more confident now because I am learning something, and I'm trying to solve that puzzle. And I think that's what I love doing. I'm trying to solve a lot of things that I do not know by learning. Okay, so that makes everything less scary, and I turn that fear into a plan. So through a business plan, and with that in mind, I started this program. So the program is called. Sorry, that will be the next slide. The program is called Start. So I didn't brand it until this batch. So batch zero, my objective is really to shift your mindset. So it's a combination of kind of personal development and life coaching and business coaching. So shifting your mindset to an entrepreneur mindset. The second thing is target your right audience. So making sure that you convey the message to the right people. Align your brand and values. This is really big for me because you have the freedom to create your own company. So I would say choose the values that you really believe in. So that means believing on your own brand and on your own company. So I would put that in one module and say that if you are sold to your, if you believe 110% on your branding and company, the sales, everything else becomes easier. Okay. And then the R is rationalize your idea. So it's not just about, oh, I love this idea, I'm gonna execute it. Oh, I have this money, I'm gonna make it a business. So it's not just about that, but making sure that, well, one, you have a market ready to accept your idea, so sizing down the market, and at the same time looking into your financials. So we're going to do a lot of forecasting. We're going to touch as well on basics of accounting. And then lastly, to track your progress, mostly it's happening on our one-on-one coaching, wherein we do a little feedback session, and then we customize the strategy based on the industry that you are in. Because I've in batch zero, I've worked with business ideas from different industries as well. So it's really amazing and interesting to see the similarities and differences on different business ideas, because sometimes they are services, sometimes they are products. Yeah, so that's the start program. And as part of the course, so that would be on the next slide. It's it it wait, what's in the course? There are 5 live classes. Oh, sorry, that's okay. Okay, just briefly I would talk about the program feedback. Yeah, some of the feedback that I highlighted here, to some people, some members of the of batch zero, they were able to create an entire business plan in just a month or two. And then if you have this really big idea of your business idea, we're going to try to organize everything through a framework and narrow things down for you. And definitely you will have a lot of help from me on doing the step-by-step guide on how you can go from point A to point B, and then do create tangible strategies that you can execute. And lastly, if the timing is right, and I've pushed you enough, and you've convinced yourself enough to really execute your idea, then you might be launching just after a few days after the program, because that happened to one of my mentees as well. So she launched her business. She's passionate about baking and cooking. She launched her business. That's really launched her business 3 days after the program, and now she's working with Collab Hub on the branding strategy. So if Anna is tuning in, hello. So yeah, so all of these things, yeah, she's just riding on the momentum right now. And yes, as part of the program, we had 6 classes. We have 5 live classes. We had, hi Ria. Oh, Ria is here. We had 5 classes. An extra one for the culmination, where they will be presenting their business plans with guest mentors. And then we have one-on-one coaching sessions as well. You can schedule it every week or twice a month, or yeah, and then an email, open email, where you can send your inquiries anytime during the program. And I have a bonus one. Sorry, can you go to the next slide, please? I have a bonus one wherein, if you are actually doing your business plan because you want to pitch it to some investors, I can definitely help you with that. So there's going to be a bonus session on that, plus a post program one-on-one coaching. Right. So yeah, this is all there is. It's really fun and meaty, like valuable sessions. Everything I try to be to make that 1 hour, because we have like 1 hour for every class. 1 hour, very valuable. So we are also open to Q&A even after the class. And then yeah, let's talk about the pricing. The original price is $300. But I want the course to be more accessible, so it's at 50% off right now, because of the pandemic, and as well as if you are a Filipino or Filipina who wants to join in the program, then you can get it for 7,500 pesos only. Yeah. All right. And lastly, if you are interested, so you can just connect with me. You can email me at themodernmariaco@gmail.com, and please also follow Sina Gostel in our adventure. So we're right now we're closed, basically closed. But yeah, so if you want to go to Siargao one day, please do get in touch. Okay, Ria is like commenting. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Suzie. Thank you for sharing those valuable tips. I do have some questions for you. So my question is, what is your tip sa mga entrepreneurs na who still have fears of, just starting and just going for entrepreneurship, like switch from corporate to the entrepreneurship journey?
Okay. Yeah. It's not easy for sure because there will be a lot of considerations. Because it's not just the business. You also have your personal life. Like I'm a breadwinner. I have to consider my family. Make sure that they can still, be fed while I'm supporting my passion or I'm pursuing my passion. So all of these things came into play. Like basic things. Yes, the personal finance. You should put a caution on your personal finance because going into business is very risky. So what you want to do is to have emergency fund that is good for 6 months. So
Okay.
kailangan mo talaga na meron kang security for yourself so that you can move forward with your business idea. And then another thing, that's like what I mentioned earlier. You need to prepare. So if I want a hostel, I need to learn everything. No, not really everything, but at least I know what the kind of business I'm going into. I know that it's an accommodation. I know that it's seasonal. I do my business plan. I talk to the people who have been to the hostel before. What are the kind of things that they're expecting? You really need to do a lot of research before you actually jump into, okay, I'm ready to leave the corporate. So making sure that you have a cushion always. It's called calculated risk, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, yun.
Okay, that's good. How about for you mentioned like you went to Siargao, you were inspired to, do a business. But I know there are a lot of people na madaming ideas, like ideas of business, hindi na na-execute, but I know there's a lot greater ideas na hindi na na-execute. But
Mm-mm.
how did you know na yun yung light bulb moment mo na ito na yung business na gusto ko? So,
Mm.
what's the turning point that this is what I want to do?
I would say it's a combination of a lot of things. Because at 7 years in the corporate, I feel like I'm ready to jump to another big thing. So I guess because I'm multi passionate, so whenever I'm interested in something, just go for it. So I that's a curse and a gift for me because I've always been very impulsive on things. But this time, I know when I got to Siargao, there's always this idea in my head na, okay, my long-term plan is not really to live in Manila. I've always been a provinciana. So I wanted to to get out of that rat race in the city and live closer to nature. So it's like part of my core values that, okay, this is something that is aligned with what I really wanted to achieve in the long run. At the same time, so yeah, I see that Siargao hasn't reached its maximum potential in terms of the growth of the demand. So nung time na yon, it was mostly a hunch, an entrepreneurial hunch, I would say, that it's going to be big. So it's a combination of what I want, the core values, and at the same time, a demand. So just like I mentioned earlier, so you need to know that there is a gap in the market or your idea is compelling enough for you to be able to create a business. So it's not just because you want it. So you need to rationalize your idea. So at that point, feeling ko nag-match lang talaga siya, the perfect timing that I was waiting for. And I feel like I've been preparing for it all my life. So yun. And of course, I really love traveling and I love welcoming people in the hostel. So it's just that parang nag ano na lang talaga siya, nag-connect na siya and that's it. That's boom. I have the idea. Yeah.
Okay. So, I've noticed na parang na-figure out mo kung yung passion mo, tapos
Yes.
na combine mo sa demand, and that's why how you come up with
Yep.
your business plan. But do you think it always important to start a business that you are passionate about?
Yes, 110% for me. Because the people, for me, kasi if you're grounded on passion, like for instance, what's happening right now? So the tourism industry is basically impacted, like badly impacted by COVID. If you don't have that passion, it will not really fuel you to move forward. You will see it as, okay, the business is failing. But for me, it's not. It's like, well, it's just a parang ano lang siya, parang kumbaga pagsubok lang siya at the moment. But because you're very passionate about it, you are in for the long haul. So either umulan man yan, bumagyo man, ano yun, parang there's a big difference between people who quits too early and the people who's in for the long haul and overcome those challenges. And for me, the difference is passion. So I think it's important that you love what you're doing and you show up And I think that's consciously I'm trying to fill in my day like this. Like I choose this kind of business because I'm very passionate about it. I'm really happy to go to work versus, spending my time on another job, maybe an 8 to 5 p.m. job that I don't really like. So I would definitely choose this path.
Okay. So, yeah. So, curious ako, what is happening with the tourism in Siargao right now? How is the businesses coping up with this pandemic?
Right now it's really more of more on response. Ano pa kami? Hindi pa kami recovery. Response pa talaga because just recently nagkaroon kami ng positive case. I think one or two. So the island is in a lockdown. Basically, any other businesses were really going through a lot and right now, and down talaga yung sales. Well, halos walang sales. Kung sino man yung natira doon, yun na yun. But the thing about the island, so what I also love about Siargao is that the local community and the business community is very much harmonious. So we always come up with different ideas. Like the community right now, they're doing barter system. We're investing more on the local farming. So the community itself, I would say, is very innovative in terms of sustainability. And that's something also that we want to protect as part of our advocacy in SINAG, that we wanted to make sure that we operate with consciousness on the local community and eco-sustainability, ganyan. Because we respect the locals. We respect kung ano yung naabutan namin doon. And that's something that is very apparent when you go to Siargao. Yeah. So we're hoping that the island will open up soon. Actually, they are estimating na baka September mag-open na. So hopefully it will get better anytime soon.
And I think you mentioned it to me na even though you're not operating, you're also selling gift cards, di ba? Or gift certificate for people who want.
Yes.
Yes, di ba?
Yeah, thank you, Jessica, for bringing that up. Yeah, we have we are selling vouchers, so basically an advance parang stay for you, so you can pay for your advance stay and then you can go to Siargao later. So it's a 20% off, so you can definitely avail that. And just go to our page. We have all the details there. So this is also for us to stay afloat during this crisis, and for you to get something to look forward to in the future. So maybe in few months it will be available. I mean, it will be open for consumption na. Okay. Yeah.
Great. So I'm sure madami nang excited mag-visit na.
I'm so excited to go back.
So yeah, thank you so much for sharing those valuable tips, and I'm sure madaming natuto na mga entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs as well. And if they want to learn more, they should definitely reach out to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Jessica. You're welcome.
And we're gonna introduce our second guest. Cher, would you like to introduce our second guest?
Hi, good afternoon, guys. I'm pleased to announce that our next guest is someone special to me because she's a friend somehow. Not somehow, yes, she's a friend. So Sarah is a digital marketing and business strategist. She is also the CEO of the Next Wave Consultancy and co-founder of Passion to Freedom for Women Entrepreneurs, a business and marketing group for millennials. Please welcome Miss Sarah Fernandez.
Thank you, my friend, somehow.
No! Ayun. Thank you for guesting to our ESME Live, Sarah.
Yes, thank you, Cher, and thank you, Jessica, and to the viewers who are joining us live. Magandang hapon po. I'm Sarah Fernandez. I'm a digital marketing and business strategist of the Next Wave Consultancy. And together with Suzie, my amazing co-founder, we created the Passion to Freedom for Women Entrepreneurs, a business and marketing Facebook group that empowers women.
All right, perfect. I'll give the floor for Sarah. She'll talk about her expertise, her where she champions, and later we'll go back together and ask her for a few questions. All right, thanks, Sarah.
Thank you, Cher. So again, I'm Sarah. I am a digital native and a serial entrepreneur. I had a skincare business straight out of college. I was selling my own clothing line on Multiply, so that was pre-Facebook era. I was also into blogging on WordPress when it was cool for the introverts and the misunderstood. Almost all the bloggers I used to follow 10 years ago have grown into big celebrities now. So the likes of Nicole Warren, of then Gary Pepper Vintage, Amin Song, and our very own Brian Boy. So over the decade, I've closely watched how the whole influencer and brand affiliate marketing grew and blew up. I started my career as a fashion designer for the local brand Freeway. And I don't think I've been recognized for this, but I suggested the name of their first multi-brand store. So I'm waiting for my former boss to give me my royalty. I was quick to realize how bad I was at drawing. And sinabi ko I miss doing math. But then over the next 10 years, I would hate math. So I moved into merchandising in 2011, where I was managing a portfolio of licensed brands for SM Retail Inc.'s Boys Teenswear department back when we only had 41 plus stores. So ngayon parang nasa 70 plus na yata yung SM malls. So when I was with SM, I was handling brands like Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes, The Simpsons, South Park. Nung time ko, we launched the first Angry Birds merchandise before the Angry Birds movie came out, and also developed their in-house denim line called Tank. In 2013, I joined the Bench Group to launch and expand their first high street brand from Denmark called Vera Moda, where I worked closely with teams in Germany and Denmark to translate their global initiatives and directives locally. So in between the corporate jobs, I bought a retail store in Cubao Expo called Stoic. Kung meron kaming customers ng Stoic dito, say hi. Together with two amazing business partners. I also had experience managing the retail sales of Sommelier Selection Inc., a distributor of French and Italian wines. For a time, almost every gatekeeper of the top 1% of Manila and embassies knew of me because it was when email marketing started gaining traction locally. And I did everything from cold calling to email marketing to transitioning their CRM to SaaS, basically. So just to invite people to the seller and to our events while managing their social media also. So there, I've been building brands, building and launching brands for 10 years, whether for myself or for big corporations. I have a strong background in fashion retail, in emerging markets, and navigating their pain points during periods of growth and change. My most recent role was brand manager of premium American footwear brand called Cole Haan. That was in 2017, where I was responsible for executing turnaround strategies, expanding its retail fleet, and I think my most important contribution was transitioning the business into e-com, also launching their very first influencer campaign, which further expanded their digital footprint. Share, next slide, please. So can we go to the next slide? Thank you. So yes, I created the Next Wave Consultancy. And just quickly talking about our culture, I saw that it was possible to leverage my collective working experiences, the soft and the hard skills, and the network I've built to do good. So currently, I'm the founder of TNWCO, where we aim to offer people the tools and frameworks to build and launch a brand, develop an online marketing strategy that prioritizes purpose and impact so that they can thrive in the modern times. I took up entrepreneurship in college with the premise that all social good flows through the arteries of all capitalism and entrepreneurship in particular. If we look at companies like Hope in a Bottle, which has the discipline of the private sector to generate funds, And then rather than dividend that out to shareholders, use that towards a social good, which for them was building classrooms. So it was organizations like this that inspired me to create a service that would help communicate their purpose and impact effectively online. I also saw opportunities for the consultancy business when I was looking at trends at regional and global level. So my best friend who lives in Amsterdam used to work for an NGO. Amsterdam has a lot of companies powered by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And she told me that there's a lot of work to be done in terms of getting these social entrepreneurs and social causes out there. And even locally, we've seen the rise of the change makers and the impact makers. So there was a union between offline and online. People wanted humanity in the digital age. They want mindful and slow living, sustainable alternatives, the circular economy. So you don't necessarily have to have the pro-profit model, but if your business is rooted in purpose and in helping people, then I think you have a stronger chance of becoming a brand that people would love. I believe that a strong brand purpose, vision, values, and beliefs, just like what Suzie have said earlier, should guide all activities of the company. If you can fashion a strong narrative and communicate those in the language of your audience, then you can truly stand out in the digital market clutter and also survive and thrive in the speed of market and build a successful and strong, impactful brand. And more than a business, we celebrate the radically different, the rebellious, just like me, the bold, those entrepreneurs who don't play it safe nor conform. I believe the creatives will change the world. And those who do good to the world, I call them the next wave, hashtag the next wave CEOs. Next slide, please. Yes, so I created a program called the Next Wave CEO that teaches you how to create a strong brand by looking at the fundamentals that underpin effective marketing and communication in today's digital world. So we will equip you with the frameworks and tools that you need to successfully launch or relaunch so you can build a brand the right way from day one. So what we'll uncover is your purpose, consumer insight, which I will help you discover through a PDF summarizing the analysis and the strategy and the recommended action. So this is sort of like a done for you assessment of your current brand activities online that tells you what you've been doing good or what needs improvement, and whether your brand is immediately recognizable across all social media profiles. As a strategist, my mission is to look at the compilation of all these data, research, opinion, and most especially listening to the sentiments of people online. So I've been lurking inside the Facebook groups for the whole pandemic. So if you collect all these information, and we can distill these into a sets of truths or insights. So by that, we help you stay big picture by offering mentorship and consultancy and a lifetime of free resources over at my Facebook page. Yeah. So who is this for? If you are a first-time or early stage entrepreneur who are about to launch a business, if you are an entrepreneur wanting to rebrand an existing business, if you want to launch a new product, service, or brand, companies who want to save time upskilling their team, come and talk to us. If you look at the next slide, here is what some people say about the work that I do. To be honest with you guys, I haven't launched the Next Wave Co. formally. So right now I've been doing I'm in my pre-launch stage. So these are the clients that I have worked with during the pandemic. First is Georgiana from Sweden. She says that I'm equivalent. Working with me is equivalent of hiring a whole team. Georgiana is from Sweden. She's selling a program on meditation and has courses and ebooks as well. So she had the website. She was almost on all platforms, but wasn't making any money. So this only means that just because you're on the sites, it doesn't mean your content is relevant to your audience or it reaches the right people. My next client was CJ, who's Suzie's friend. He lives in Siargao. He has both a product and a service, so I was able to teach him how to make a roadmap for his launch campaigns. He already had a good following, so it was just about making his message clear and on point and on brand. And next slide would be a social entrepreneur that I've worked with. They are Impacto International. They are an educational platform for impact entrepreneurship. So by launching the Next Wave Consultancy, I hope to have a positive impact model where for each consultancy service that a client purchases, I am able to give that back. It's able to impact social enterprise directly. So this is one of them. They were undergoing a rebranding when I met them, and we were able to give them actionable tips that they can easily implement on their socials, as well as tips to grow their private Facebook group. So there, last slide will be my socials. You can find me at The Next Wave Co. and / The Next Wave Co. on Facebook. If you want a free 30-minute discovery call, please comment the following below. Just comment your business name, product, service, if you have a question or problem, and I will only choose one, and I'll DM you back.
All right. Thank you very much, Sarah. That was so interesting and something I could relate to somehow. Siguro my question for you will be listening to what you're saying, I feel that you're very in love with digital marketing and branding per se. So my question is, what made you fell in love with marketing or branding per se?
Well, I think it was fashion. It was launching fashion brands, and then I figured, well, I was doing this for big corporations, and to the point na parang my bosses, I'm thankful that my bosses allowed me to work like a startup, so they gave me full liberty on how to localize our campaigns. So parang how do we translate this brand into the Filipino taste, diba? So dun siya nag-start. And now go
Okay.
ahead.
For retail, since you're very expert in retail management, what's the main difference from an international brand and a local brand whenever you launch a campaign? Is there a big difference, or there should be pros and cons somehow?
Well, you have to consider yung regional and cultural differences of your markets. So, kunyari kami, we belong in the Asia Pacific region. But then when you compare Philippines to Thailand and Philippines to China, they have an altogether different strategy. Yeah.
All right. Understandable. Siguro next question will be, if you could recommend like a platform or a tool for anybody at this age, considering there's pandemic and such, what will be the best technology to invest on right now in this age?
Actually, what I tell everybody, and I think kami ni Suzie are testament to this. If you have a phone and a stable internet connection, you can start a business, you can build a brand. But if you want to think long term and you want to establish something that's going to be sustainable, meaning financially, na mabubuhay ka dun sa negosyo na yun. So you have to think of how to brand yourself and to market yourself online. And we have social media to do that. Social media basically democratized the whole starting the business, diba? Anyway, So your brand should be recognizable in all social media platforms. If you're online, then you're already winning, diba? But can we just quickly talk about siguro the purpose of each social media platform?
Yeah, yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes, kasi yun nga, yun ang napansin ko din dun sa mga clients ko. They feel like they need to be on every platform. So parang maski sila nababurn out na rin na parang, or they also think na just because I have one content, sorry, they can cross-post that in different platforms without even repurposing or without even considering the audience in each of those platforms. So let's start with Pinterest kasi I think a
Yes,
lot of women entrepreneurs are on there.
yes,
So the very main purpose of Pinterest is it's a search engine for images. So your content needs to be highly visual, highly visual, and it needs to it has to have strong imagery, and it's often used as inspiration for projects. If you go to
correct.
Twitter, if we go to Twitter, um, people view it as a news platform. In fact, it's listed as a news app on the iOS App Store. So
Correct.
retweeting and curation are encouraged. It's well suited for brands who are sharing blog posts or promoting website content. So if you're a company who does that, you have to be on Twitter. Um, Actually, I'd say Twitter and LinkedIn for most B2B marketers. And yun nga, going to LinkedIn, it's a professional network. There's so much to capitalize on LinkedIn now because everyone's on Facebook and on Instagram and on TikTok. So parang kapag nag-post ka ng video content doon, or even sharing slides on LinkedIn, like, it gets
Correct.
you so much engagement.
Correct.
And it establishes your credibility and authority as a brand. And we going naman to Instagram, our most favorite platform. The only KPI that matters there is the number of conversations generated and the number of shareable content that you create. So if you're not doing the DMs, then Instagram won't reward you for those connections for not connecting.
Correct.
And Facebook, yun nga, I love that we're doing live. The algorithm shows that, more live videos. The algorithm shows more live streaming and automatically notifies your followers. So Facebook groups are a good engagement pod. Kasi when people opt into your private groups, you know that they're already interested in what you offer. So it's just about building that community, and eventually they will be, evangelists for your brand, for what you do.
I love how you measured all of the platforms with this specific target market. So for everybody who doesn't know how to segmentize your target market, it's really important na you know your audience, and when you delegate this or you recommend this to your client, you'll be able to pinpoint which platform works best. Perfect yung sinasabi ni Sarah na hindi ka naman dapat talaga, you don't need to be present at everything. If you don't need to be present at Pinterest, there's no point if wala ka masyadong imagery na to share to begin with. But there's a expertise then per platform, right? Na the reason why you need to be present. I super love
True.
I super love that. Speaking of expertise, since I consider you as an expert on your market, what do you recommend for people who want to start businesses? What niche or what industry should they start on? Is it based on their skills, or what, or maybe based on trends? What could be the best industry that anybody could start with?
I think start with your strengths kasi if you can't, yun yung easiest to leverage on eh. So
Agree.
if you are good at, selling, then
Yeah.
translate that online. If you're
Correct.
good at storytelling, then why don't you do copywriting? Why don't you create an agency for virtual freelancers?
Correct.
Kasi sobrang dali na kasi magnegosyo ngayon. it's easier to validate your big idea because all you need to do is you have a big idea, go to Google and see what industries have ads on Facebook. Yun yung easiest way for you to do market validation. So yeah, capitalize on your strengths. Number two, look at trends. Kasi if there is no trend, if there's no market to who will buy your product or service, then there's no point. No matter how niche you are, alam mo yun, you're only gonna be serving this small group. If that's okay with you, then it's fine. But if you wanna make money, syempre, punta ka na dun sa bigger island.
Correct, agree. Parang yung ube pandesal, right? It became a very big hit for everybody. And it's quite great somehow, even though na madami nagsulputan. Pero since it's different markets or different locations, it's still mabenta somehow for everybody. Good point. Siguro, two more questions. How would you determine if it's time to rebrand during this pandemic? Since brands right now might be suffering from the COVID situation, do you think it's the best time to rebrand, or when do you think it's the right time to do some innovation with your branding?
In terms of rebranding for existing businesses, normally sa corporate, it takes a long time. So if you're a small business pa lang, tapos paiba-iba ka ng concept, baka ma-confuse yung market mo, especially if you have a strong following na. And that's why it's important na when you do rebranding, your audience will feel the transformation from, alam yun, from your messaging to your brand identity. So brand identity is your logo, your packaging. So for me, kung matagal ka na business, tapos hindi parang nag-stagnate na yung business mo, I think we need to do something about it. We need to change either how you communicate your services online, how to reach people. Let me tell you a story. So there was a study done by oh my god, I might be wrong, parang the New York Times. So they did an experiment. This journalist did an experiment. So he bought super cheap products, as in kunyari suklay or kutsara, and he added storytelling in each product. So parang ito binigay to sa akin ng boyfriend ko. It's really, alam mo yun, it's very sentimental. So he added stories in each of the product, and when he came to sell those, grabe yung jump nung perceived value. So meaning, tumaas yung presyo nung tinanong niya, magkano ba yung worth nito? So yun lang yung isa sa mga powerful ways on how branding helps. A strong brand strategy helps with businesses.
So there should really be like a storytelling process, or parang truthful, honest storytelling from brands.
Authentic.
Yes, authentic.
And transparent.
Correct, oo.
True.
Kasi if yung sinasabi mong story, if he just bought it and white labeled it and make a story, he's just a great...
it's just another brand.
Correct. Pero if it's parang grassroots somehow, then it's authentic, then it will be more impactful and powerful for everybody. Great. Ayun, siguro may question si Miss Jessica, sabi niya, what should your brand response to be for issues like corona pandemic? So parang since there's a strategy, right, the pandemic right now, and somehow we are in recession, somehow going on recession right now. What do you think should brands do to still be existing or to be still valuable for their market?
So a lot of businesses who suffered from the lockdown were those who didn't have the infrastructure for e-commerce. Kasi nagtipid. So hindi wala ko pinaparinggan pero yun, hindi nag-invest sa pag-put up ng kasi di ba sa business may mga units, so parang merong merchandising, may marketing department, may sales department, hindi nagtayo ng e-commerce. So So I think for small businesses kasi since you're lean, maliit pa lang, mas madali kasi mag-migrate. So parang, alam mo yon, digital native na yung business mo. So, yun nga eh. So for those who didn't also, wala silang capabilities to produce protective equipment. So my first boss, si Sherry Gotwako of Stylist and Pocket, they also transitioned. So in her ANC interview with David Saldran, she said that consumers prioritizes safety and protective clothing now. So Stylist and Pocket parang promotes more loungewear, but aside from that, they're producing and curating PPEs. So yeah, parang it's about how do we look professional but provide safety when I get home. That's what she said.
Perfect. As much as I want to love to talk to you more, feeling ko we could talk for hours. Let's call on Jessica and Suzie here. Para we can talk more about what really is one of the topics which is passion to freedom for women entrepreneurs. So our viewers will be able to understand as well. Hey, Jessica and Suzie, welcome back.
Hi, thank you, Sarah.
It was great having you girls, and we learned a lot somehow with your advocacies and your passion on businesses and such. So, first question for everybody will be one. It's pandemic right now. What should we do right now? Parang for entrepreneurs, what is the best way to move forward? Parang if your business is suffering right now, what can be our best recommendation or suggestion to businesses that need help, or even just friendly motivation somehow? Susie, let's start with Susie.
Okay. Yeah, actually teka lang. Kami badly affected talaga kami. If you are in the tourism industry, definitely you will feel the pressure coming to you because there's always like overhead expenses. You have to think about kung nagre-renta ka, yan. Bankruptcy is happening everywhere. So what you need to think about on the perspective of accommodations is to really look into your cash flow. So I'm being very specific. So cash flow will be the bloodline of any business right now, and you need to assess whether this will be a lot of executive decisions, just like what happened to Airbnb, right? So I'm sure
Yeah.
it's really, really hard to let go of the people. Even for me, like we only have 5 staff in the hostel, but I'm sure it's really hard to let go of the people because yun nga, there's no sales, so you need to reduce their work hours, etc. So you need to make a lot of these executive decisions, but you need to look at your cash if you can really survive or try to forecast if you can survive for the next few months. If not, it's okay. It's not failing. Right now, like for us, we're stepping back on the operations. That's fine. But it means like we're gonna bounce back stronger. So but at least we have an assessment na, okay, ito yung kaya natin gawin ngayon. If hindi kaya, because there are so many guidelines na we have to follow, and then also there are a lot of external factors that you need to consider. So you need to align everything according to what the business can do as of the moment. So you need to be resourceful, but at the same time, be sensitive on what's happening on the background. And at the same time, I think dito pupunta yung core values mo as an entrepreneur. That, for instance, for us, we have our employees, so we need to make sure that they get the proper benefit. Kung kaya mo silang supportahan. All of these things are really, really important on building a strong sense of parang it's not just it's the we, building that kind of dynamics sa team ninyo, because eventually everything will be back.
Oops, we lost Susie. Okay, while we're waiting for Susie, siguro Sarah, what's your opinion about the question of recommendations for during the pandemic for businesses?
Actually, I can also talk about yung fear of starting the business during a pandemic. So maraming nawalan ng trabaho din. So yun nga parang you're looking at businesses such as Sinag Hostel, Susie's business, diba? So parang it's not only her and the tourism industry that's suffering. So ang daming variables like lack of capital, lack of access to funding, which is I think slowly nagbabago na rin. Yun nga, and people have low appetite for business risk. Tsaka yung ease of doing business sa Pilipinas din kasi kailangan mag-improve. Although I think nag-improve na naman siya when we compare it to other countries, ASEAN countries, diba? So yun, tsaka parang yung biggest fear of starting a business kasi parang when we fail especially for women entrepreneurs, parang it's so public and it's so personal. So yun yung one of the reasons why I guess people don't want to put themselves out there.
Correct.
I agree with you. Like, especially right now, recession is inevitable, diba? So I think we could be optimistic a bit about it because sometimes in recession there would be more opportunity. And I noticed na a lot of companies or businesses are hello Suzie. So mas madami nakikitang nagsusulputang businesses right now. It's like more innovative. And then I noticed that since there's a demand for digitization na ngayon, diba yung Philippines compared to Asian countries, super late tayo. So right now, fast track. So nasasanay yung tao to pay online, to buy, go more e-commerce. So I think that's an opportunity for entrepreneurs, diba? So we just have to leverage on that. And I do have a question for you, Sarah, with branding. So what would you suggest how to do the proper brand activation for businesses na non-essential or hindi pa rin makapag-operate until now?
Sorry, hindi sila makapag-operate because
businesses they really cannot operate because of social distancing. So how would they do the proper brand activation if they can't even operate?
I think yun yung ngayon yung perfect opportunity for them to establish brand building online on social media. So parang there are a lot of international brands who are doing this. If hindi sila makapagbukas na restaurant, then they are very active on their own Facebook group, engaging with their community. So that's one way that they can do while they're waiting for I don't know whether it's yung kung ano tawag doon? Yung parang yung to fully operate, right? There's a lot of things to do to grow your audience. So just by just sympathizing with people right now because people need more than ever connection online since we can't really do that, diba?
Kasi kahit even during pandemic, for example, you're not making any sales or revenue, but if you're doing brand activation, after naman, you can monetize those audiences.
Absolutely. And you've already captured that audience online by your message. So parang, okay, so here's a brand that takes care of us, or I feel their values and their beliefs. So once na fully operate ka ulit, then I think that's money in the bank.
That's right. So we could talk about what is passion for freedom. So what is the community's purpose for to help womenpreneurs?
Suzie, Sarah? There's a question.
Oo.
Tinitingnan ko if madi-disconnect ulit ako. Sorry about that. Maybe Sarah can introduce how we met.
Okay. So Suzie and I
Yeah.
Can we just say we haven't met in person? So Suzie and I met during the lockdown.
That's true.
Parang Tinder lang pala to.
Yes. So, what a very good parallel share. So, we invested in this online course for virtual freelancers kasi feeling namin, gusto kasi namin maging digital nomad. Kaso nga lang, dumating si COVID, diba? So, we were part of this private Facebook group. Suzie posted a photo of her and the surfboard, and I was like, bam, accountability buddy. She's gonna be my friend forever. So Suzie, do you wanna tell them why we created the group?
Um, yeah, so basically, yun nga, nag-meet nga kami ni Sarah. Tapos yun, now she's like my business bestie. And with the passion to freedom naman for women entrepreneurs, it's mostly, well, on a bigger perspective, I would say that we want to invest more on this specific segment, women, because we both believe that investing on this segment can actually create a ripple effect on the local economy and maybe in the world. Parang moving forward, I have this big idea in my head na parang what we're doing right now, even for ESME, we're inspiring other women to create their own business and become financially independent. All of those things. I think this is really very empowering. And at the same time, yun nga, there are all these issues na dating back in the history, it's always like women have less opportunities as compared to our male counterparts. And I think there's a big advocacy right now, I mean, worldwide, to try to close that gender gap. And even in US, diba, parang sinasabi nila that for every $1 that a man earns in a day, a woman only earns like 52 cents, which is just
Agree.
a little more than half. So all of these things contribute to that, to catalyze that vision that we want to close that gender gap. But at the same time, it's not really a competition with the men. But at the same time, looking at the traits of women, sa totoo lang, tayo yung perfect na entrepreneur. Because women, when they get, this is something I've observed with my mom as well. So, but generally, if you look at the studies conducted by OECD, so I always look at their studies, so Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So whenever I want to rationalize a certain idea, I always go to their page, and you will learn loads of things about about policies, etc., about the world. But yun, so zooming in on that specific segment, so if they conducted this idea and this study and concluded that okay, when you actually increase the participation of women in the economy, everything gets better. There's a speeding up of development, yung health natin, the overall health of the community gets better. What else? Yun yeah, we're trying to close the gap on the gender inequality, but but the women needs to have a bigger space and a bigger funding. Because if you look at it, if you bring in the earnings or the fundings to the women, ano yung unang binibili nila? So the needs of the family and the needs of the community. And I always observe that with my mom. Alam ko na kapag binigyan ko siya ng budget, ang una niyang bibilhin is yung mga necessity sa bahay. And that's the priority, right? So if you invest on women generally, so you know that the economy will get better eventually because they know exactly what they need to do to make everything better. Because I'm saying, yeah, mas magaling siyang mag-budget kaysa sa tatay ko. But yeah, it's something that is very apparent for me na actually yung most of the women think this way. And for me, this is one of the biggest assets of an entrepreneur, right? So, but one of the biggest traits of an entrepreneur na kaya mong i-prioritize yung mga dapat i-prioritize, right? So, the
Agree.
passion to freedom naman. So, with that bigger perspective, for us, it's just that, well, we know that we're trying to make this impact. But on the ground, if you're an entrepreneur, solo entrepreneur, it just makes it just makes it easier to have someone or a group that really supports you, because I know entrepreneurship is not easy. Some people think, mayaman na yan kasi may negosyo na, but there's always a lot of work on the background, and hindi lang yung work but the self doubt, fear, all of those things, all those little voices inside your head that's saying, oh, you're not good enough, or hindi mo pa nagagawa to, ganyan. Ano yun, ang daming ganon. So psych-wise, the group helps, the group would want to help all these women who are just starting or just growing their business, that it's okay, it's valid, everyone goes through this, and eventually, well, you committed to this, and because you know that it's worth it. So just a pat on the back coming from another person is actually making a big difference on how you move forward. So yeah, that's the greatest, I guess that's the big vision behind the group.
Ayan,
I hope that makes sense.
very inspiring words. Parang Miss Universe pageant. It's so inspiring, and
Hi, thank you.
totally agree on every point. I agree with the power to purchase for women. I totally agree that our moms or women in general has more buying power or the shopping power per se. So parang ipoposition ba yung product mo for moms. Kaya nga sa ads, 'di ba, most of the time you put mom segmentation inside because regardless kahit pang lalaking product pa to, sometimes moms also purchases for dads. So totally agree. Siguro for Passion to Freedom for Women Entrepreneurs Group, how do you envision yourselves to be able to help? I know Susie mentioned a lot of good points already, pero parang moving forward, if there's a person right here na who's wanting to join your group, ano yung mga expectations nila if they'll join your group?
Sarah,
So
you want? Okay, go for it.
all right, go. Expectations ng mga women entrepreneurs who want to join our community. By the way, it's a global community, so we have our friends from different countries, not only Philippines. Pero ngayon kasi we haven't really advertised the group sa foreign Facebook groups, kaya ngayon it's limited to our family and friends, which makes it even more tighter, and alam mo, there's a small community brewing inside there. So expectations, number one, yung sinasabi ni Suzie na pat on the back, you get an accountability. Entrepreneurship, it can sometimes be very lonely, so you have someone who's on the same process and on the same journey as you. Oh, hi, Dr. Lopez. He was the head of the entrepreneurship department in Miriam College, where I studied. Hi, Doc. So yes, second, they also accountability tips and free resources. So we're very, very generous on that, and not only resources coming from Suzie and I, but also from your
The members.
peers,
Yes.
from the members. So parang it's about everybody helping each other become the best version, and women in leadership roles, whether you're starting a company or a small negosyo lang. Sorry, not lang Small negosyo are hard.
Yes.
It's
Siguro,
hard.
if I may add, at this age, siguro my age per se, pero sometimes it's hard to find a friend. And it's hard to find a friend, lalo na pag yung accountability partner, especially in terms of businesses. So I think your group is a big help for people who are not alone naman, pero who needs to be inspired. Pero kami ni Jeka, we have different set of businesses and such. Pero I would assume that Jeka is also my accountability partner in terms of business. Kaya, like I mentioned before when I talk with you guys, your group is really fit in with our vision for ESME as well. So, kaya we want to promote with our platform, the Passion to Freedom for Women Entrepreneurs, because it has a good vision, it has a good advocacy for women entrepreneurs who need not really guidance, but it's really the sense of community per se, right? Tama ba ako ng? Okay, perfect.
So yeah, how can women join, or how can we join the group? Like, how can we find you? How can we connect with you? Is it free?
It's free. Ayun,
Yes.
so we have our Facebook group, passion, just look for Passion to Freedom for Women Entrepreneurs, pretty easy. And then there are just few questions. And after that we'll approve you. That's it. Yun lang. Very easy.
Walang qualifications, everyone can join.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
If
whether you're
you're,
a starting entrepreneur
yeah.
or growing your business, or you have a really, really vague idea that you think you will execute in 2 to 3 years, I think it's good to lurk around and just observe what are the other people's needs. Yun. So madaming pwedeng mangyari.
Ayan, may shout out lang ako. Hello, Mr. Richie Zamora, the pickiest eater. Thank you for viewing our live webinar today at ESME. Ayun. Speaking of which, so once they join, parang they'll learn more about your guidance and all. It's also a community, I know. So, pero what's next siguro for Passion to Freedom for Women Entrepreneurs? Or what will be your vision for the next year or so? Parang, are you planning to grow it as international or not international, but more
Wow.
global?
Why not?
Are you planning to have events, ganon, like for us to for the members to like really engage closer?
Suzy, secret pa ba or announce na natin?
Announce na natin.
yan?
We need to get you to do it.
Yeah, actually, si Passion to Freedom for Women Entrepreneurs Group, we are just predecessors of, ano ba, like amazing women's groups such as Connected Women. There are hundreds of Facebook groups out there internationally, like Ladies Wine and Design in New York, which has international chapters, while Connected Women, who is run by this Gina Romero, she has local chapters within the Philippines. So we only aspire to be just as great as those groups.
Yeah.
Agree. Meron tayong comment from Miss Maya Amador. She said, we started a small online business during this pandemic, and this webinar encouraged me to push forward. Wow, that's very thank you, Miss Maya. That's a very
Thank you.
nakakataba ng puso. Ayun.
Aw.
Anything else that we need to promote? Yes, Jessica.
Just webinars nowadays, di ba? Ang daming natutulog, ang daming natutunan, ang daming na-inspire. And it's great kasi it's free. So, as much as possible, I would suggest sa mga tao, like, take advantage of it. Kasi susunod, may bayad na yan. Nga, di ba? Nag-iisip na mag-monetize yung mga webinars.
Diba?
Correct.
Naku, wag sila.
Pero dati talaga ang webinar, it's really expensive ha. Parang you pay ang pinakamura $4.99 or pinakamura na yun or $100. Right now, everything goes free because of the pandemic. And we learn a lot of, like this good insights from experts, champions, in their own field. So it's really inspiring. Also, I heard, diba, from Suzie and Sarah, you'll have coffee breakout sessions. Maybe you can talk about it before we close this. But we can also promote people if they want to watch your things inside the group.
Okay. Should I go ahead?
Yeah, go.
Yes, we have our coffee break sessions every Wednesday. So basically, in the group pala, we have our schedule. Like, every Monday we do this, every Tuesday. So every Wednesday we do the coffee break sessions, and we invite. It's either Sarah and I talk to each other and talk about a specific topic, or we invite someone like an expert on their field to talk about to discuss about their expertise and something that is very valuable to entrepreneurs as well. So if you are interested to be our guest, so do let us know. So just be part of the group and message us, or or you can just join the group and abangan lang ninyo every 4:30 or around 4 to 4:30 p.m. So we do go in live every Wednesday. Yeah.
And our ESME girls will be guesting on our next
Yes.
coffee break session. So we are excited for that. I hope you guys are excited too.
We are. Definitely, we are. We are excited.
Napilitan lang pala eh.
Kaya nga pinapromote na naman right now. So people will be able to watch us once we're there. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you very much, ladies. It was an awesome
Thank you.
afternoon with you guys. Thank
Or
you for
can I promote
spending.
something?
Of course. Yes, Sophie.
So just before we end, again, I would like to, because my batch alpha of the start program will be starting next Saturday, but I still have to fill in like 3 slots. I'm still waiting for the confirmation, but I still have 3 free slots. So let me know. Just contact me if you're interested to be part of the program, and I assure you that it will be very, very valuable. And let's make it fun. And yeah, you will learn a lot, especially with if you really want to learn about pitching to investors. I can definitely help you out. So yeah, that's it for me.
Maybe you can help us as well. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Ayun. Thank you again. No other words, but thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anything else to
Last
promote somehow or such?
Sarah, do you have anything to promote as well?
Yes, if you learned anything at all, kahit anong tawag doon, basta kahit konti lang yung natutunan nyo, if you learned anything, please comment your biggest takeaway, follow us on social media, and if you're a woman entrepreneur, join our Facebook group community, support ESME because bihira lang yung online platform that, celebrates education and, just upskilling and empowering people during this time. So thank you very much, ladies.
And
Thank you,
Filipinos.
Suzie.
And
Filipinos
we,
in particular.
and we look forward then you guys will also be having your own courses inside ESME platform in the future. Exciting. All right. That's it for this afternoon, guys. Thank you very much for watching. See you next Saturday again for our next
Wednesday.
Wednesday ba?
Oh.
Wednesday for you guys. I mean for ESME. It's next Saturday.
Sorry.
Excuse na si Sarah. Yes. Next Wednesday, the coffee break session
Yes.
with Passion to Freedom Women Entrepreneurs Group, and next Saturday for ESME live webinar.
Please do visit our website at www.esme.ph, like our Facebook page as well, to be updated for the latest free courses. And you can get your e-certificate for this webinar as well by visiting our website.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye. Good
Thank
afternoon.
you. Bye bye. Happy weekend.